I'm just gonna explain what we're building, which is the box pinhole camera. It has two pieces. It has got the housing, which we're gonna build first. Secondary, it's got the shutter, which will have this piece, the shutter, and then the pinhole will go here. For today's demo, we're going to be building the housing. There is a step when you spray paint, that's the last step. The idea is that this will be light tight because like our friend William Fox Talbot, he was exposing his photos. If light got in there, the project is done. This has to be light safe. So that is the main thing. This project will have two pieces and they have to both go together. If you look up at the chart we have here, this tells you how to build the bottom piece or the housing / foundation. The second step is building the lid shutter. Today we're just doing the housing, which takes, if you look at this, it takes 5 pieces of cardboard. So I'm going to show you how to make that happen. Following this planogram, you'll each have a planogram, you'll each have templates to trace. This will be up on the whiteboard for you to reference. So as you learned yesterday, the pinhole camera was made portable in 1764. So we're emulating the pinhole camera that's portable from 1764. And if you can't remember when 1764 was, just try to remember that when the Beatles came to America, that was in 1964. So just subtract 200 years, you have 1764. That's when people started getting these little pinhole cameras to go. So we're basically going to be making that. So if you look at this chart, what do we need for the first step? We need 4 pieces all together. We're going to cut out 2 of the small pieces, 2 of the large pieces. And if you look, there's very specific measurements on how we do that. So I'm going to look at my chart and I'm going to see that I need a piece that's 6 inches by 4.5. So I'm going to look for the correct template, which is a 6 by 4.5 template piece. So I know I need 2 of those. And how am I going to do that? Well, what we're asking you to do is lay your template on the cardboard and just do your best to draw a straight line around the perimeter of the template. So you know perimeter from the olden days of your education means when you add up the walls, outer walls, that's perimeter. So we're going for perimeter. So cool, I did part 1. I have one of those. But what's really important is when you have this little pile of graham crackers, you're gonna be like, what goes where? I don't know which one goes where. That's when you get your friend the pen and you're gonna mark what we did. So I know that side is a 6-inch side and the other side is just a 4.5. So now, later when I have my parts, I know what this is. I know it's not this. I know that it's this. So we'll do 2 of those, and then the larger piece, I'm gonna show you how to do that. And what is that? We're gonna look on here that we need a 6 by 6 3/4. So the idea in this project is that for the housing, these all match up. So we're trying to think in those terms. One thing you can do that is kind of a life hack, since we know that this side's gotta meet this side, I'm just gonna put those together. So you'll see why that will be effective in a bit. So trace, 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 trace. So basically I would be doing 2 of these, and then again, I'm like, what is that square? I have no idea. Let's look and mark it. I know it's a 6 there, and then across 6 3/4. So now I need to cut these out because what I'm trying to do is get 4 pieces that are going to be bonded with tape, just like so. So I'm going to show you an effective way to cut these out that you all will be doing. Box cutter, I would say make sure that you have a good blade. These can be resharpened if you break a piece off. If you think you want a sharper new piece, ask one of the instructors, we can do that for you. And these lock into place because that will not let the blade go back in. So that's super important that you're locking it in place. If you ever cut your hand with a knife or a razor blade, which you're bound to do at some point in your life, it's not a good time. So You really need to be careful with this tool. Don't be running around with this tool. Only have this tool when you're working in your workspace, and make sure you have enough room to use this tool. If your friends are crowding you and you're like wiggling around, it's really easy to cut yourself a piece. So you need to use adults in time when you're using these. So now I'm going to make my first cut. I want to be like in a natural space where I'm like, don't feel rushed or crowded. And also what's important is you're standing when you're cutting, because it's giving you more stability, because it's all about precision in these steps. So I'm gonna cut my first piece out now, and open the blade, I lock it into place. And now to do the cuts, it's basically like tracing. I'm gonna trace this line, and I'm not gonna be able to cut through it on the first pass because I'm not a machine. I am just gonna drag until I get through to the cutting mat. So that maybe will take 3, and maybe for good measure, I'll do 4. And then I can say, well, I'm gonna look, it looks like it went through, so that's good. One thing you wanna avoid is we're not sawing a tree down in the forest. We're not doing this. We're only carefully pulling towards us. Another thing, whenever you're cutting, keep your fingers out of the danger zone, because I don't want to cut towards my fingers, because if I'm cutting and say there's an earthquake or a loud noise that scares me, I'm gonna go, I'm not gonna go onto my fingers, because it's super, you can get cuts so quickly with this tool. So if you're careful, you'll be all good. Just make sure I'm over the cutting mat as I make my cuts. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this one out. And just, there's no real way to teach how to do this, but just be super careful and follow that line. I mean, the thing about making artwork is like, it just takes some practice to get things going. So my fingers are out of the way, and I'm kind of using my finger to like aim my blade. So I'm doing my cuts, and I'll be cutting out piece 1. So today, you all will be cutting out, we want you to cut out 4 pieces using the template, and if possible, you're gonna cut out the base.